Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Um, I I must talk about this now. A certain man that goes by the name Adeyinka grandson or whatever that he calls himself has been going around spewing venom and poisonous misinformation on social media against the Igbo people and others. In honesty, I have tried so hard to ignore this guy, this ignoramus, but who I am actually doesn't let me do so. Actually, we do not ignore the ignoramus, we educate them. Especially in this occasion, this ignoramus appears to me as either an unsatisfied, jobless, attention-seeking person, or should I call him an idiot? Should I call him a fool? I don't know. I don't really know. But what I do know is that silence is not the best answer to a fool. But accurate information and measured education are the best answer to a fool and shall help to hopefully help to pound out foolishness from the fool. Now, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, with a tone of condemnation, I must respond to your misinformation on social media. You are ranting on social media, and I'm doing that for the purpose of re-educating you and those you have misled and those you are likely going to be misleading. And also to put the record straight out there, okay? And also to let you know the legal consequences of your ranting or your actions, okay? By the way, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, what is really your name? What's your name? Where are you from? I have asked around, and none of my Yoruba brothers and sisters seems to know who you are. Please speak Yoruba language now, and I can guarantee that you are not from Lagos that you claim. Having lived in Lagos, none of my Yoruba brothers and friends reason or speak like the way you do. Okay, let me draw your attention to your insult on Ohaneze Ndigbo, the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Mr. John Wodo, your insult on Igbo people on the whole. And first, this is my disclaimer. I'm not an Ohaneze Ndigbo person. I don't know John Wodo. I don't actually give a rat about Ohaneze. Okay? But what I do know is that you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you have demonstrated very strong hatred, very strong jealousy, very strong hatred against the Igbo people. Very, very strong hatred against the Igbo people. You've been insulting the Igbo people, the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo people, Ohaneze Ndigbo, simply because it was stated that Igbo people own 40% of properties in Lagos. What's a big deal about a people owning 40% of property in a place? What's the big deal about that? Same record source also shows that Igbos own 80% of hotels in Abuja. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, are you still bitterly jealous of these facts? And you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you went further to misinform the public that Igbos do not go to school. That is very annoying. That Igbos have no human resources. That Igbos have no natural or capital resources. You also stated that Igbos are criminal. That Igbos use proceeds of crime to buy the said properties in Lagos. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you are wrong. Okay? You are very, very wrong. In fact, you are criminally wrong. Okay? Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you also threatened threatened bloodshed as you went further to say that you and your friends will be chasing away all the Igbos living in Lagos. Again, to you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, your threat is very precariously provocative, and you need to stop this madness now. In your video clip, where you insulted the Igbo people, it is obvious that you do not have an idea of what you're talking about. Some of the things you talked about, you have no idea. For instance, we are very confused on the subject of citizenship. You were very confused on the subject of immigration. And you were also very, very confused on the subject of law. You were unable to get your facts right. Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, you seem not to know or understand who an immigrant is. And you need to be educated on this. The Igbos are not immigrants in Nigeria, okay? The Igbos are native-born citizens of Nigeria and not immigrants in any part of Nigeria, okay? This is settled in law, all right? So, please, I let you to go and keep fooling yourself, but got to understand that you should stop misinforming the public. You should stop misinforming the public, okay? The Arabs, the Chinese, and the Indians you made reference to in your video clip are immigrants in England. The French, the Germans, the German telecommunication companies in England you also mentioned are foreign investments. Their owners, of course, are European Union citizens, but Igbo real estate in Nigeria are not foreign investment under any laws of Nigeria. Okay? Now, regarding your take on educational achievement of Igbos, let me tell you here, Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, you are very ignorant of publicly available education and literacy data in Nigeria. Otherwise, you will have known that Igbo people are the most educated, the most education-seeking, and educationally achieving people in the country, Nigeria. All right? Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, before you open your mouth and say that Igbos don't go to school, I seriously encourage you to please go and review publicly available data from JAMB, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, the Nigerian University Commissions, and the West African Examination Council, WAEC. Okay? The records are there. Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, it is important to let you know that in addition to buying and selling, which Igbos are good at, okay? Igbos are equally very educated too. They are. Igbos are very hardworking people. They are risk-taking adventurers. Igbos are very entrepreneurial and naturally smart and very competitive. If you put an average Igbo person in a hostile environment, he will excel. Just give him time. Okay? Just a quick reminder here. After the genocidal crime against the Igbo people, the genocidal crime that is called Nigerian Civil War, the Igbo people lost all that they had. They lost their wealth. They lost their properties. Most of them millionaires then that had money in the bank, running into tens and twenties of thousands of pounds, where their monies were taken away, and they were given only 20 pounds. Okay, what a mockery. Okay, and they sprang off from that. With that 20 pounds, they sprang up. They blossomed from that 20 pounds to become what they are today. And that tells it all, that Igbos are very, very hardworking people. Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, perhaps you need to ask yourself some granite questions, some hard questions. Why would John Nwodo, whom you are insulting, able to defeat your father to become the president of the Students' Union in a Yoruba-dominated, prestigious University of Ibadan during his time as a university student? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Mr. Adeyinka Grandson, let me refer you quickly to a study about African pioneer academics in various fields of academics that was conducted by a Nigerian scholar, Dr. Samuel Kafro, who actually, in that study, found that a lot of pioneer academics in Africa are actually of Igbo origin. They are Igbos. Okay? And on that note, let me quickly remind you that the first vice chancellor of the University of Lagos was an Igbo man called Professor Eni Njoko. Okay? And I think even till today, we still have a Njoku Hall at the University of Lagos. Okay, the first Nigerian rector of prestigious Yaba College of Technology was an Igbo man. Okay, the first black vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan was an Igbo man called Professor Kenneth Dike. Okay, the first Nigerian professor of mathematics was also an Igbo man called Professor Chikobi. The man I'm talking about solved the Fermat-Last theorem. Okay, he was followed by another Igbo man called Professor James Ezilo, professor of differential calculus and the founder of Ezilo Constant. The first Nigerian professor of history was an Igbo man called Professor Kenneth Dike. As said earlier, Professor Dike became the first black vice chancellor of the prestigious University of Ibadan. The first Nigerian professor of botany was an Igbo man called Professor Ninjok. As I said earlier, he actually rose to become the very first vice chancellor of the University of Lagos. The first Nigerian professor of anatomy and physiology is Professor Chike Edozien, another Igbo man who is also the OB of Asaba. Okay, the first Nigerian professor of physics was also an Igbo man. Okay, Professor Okoye, look him up, was an Igbo man. He became the professor of physics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States in 1960s. Okay, and he was followed by the likes of Professor Alexander Anomalo, who has been nominated for Nobel Prize for Physics 3 good times for his research in intermediate quantum physics. Okay, in the area of nuclear physics and chemistry, again, another Igbo man called Professor Frank Ndele, who gained a PhD in his early 20s at the Cambridge University in nuclear physics and chemistry in the early 1960s. This young man I'm talking about had made a first class in physics and mathematics at the then University College Ibadan in the early 1950s. The first professor of statistics is an Igbo man called Professor Adichie, his research on non-parametric statistics led to new areas in statistical research. Okay, what about the first Nigerian professor of medicine? We're talking about Professor Cordilinye. He was appointed a professor of medicine at the University of London in 1952. He later became the first vice chancellor of University of Nigeria in Nsukka after the so-called Nigerian Civil War. What about the area of astronomy? Again, another Igbo man was the first professor of astronomy. Please, when you get a tick, look up Professor Ntukoju. He was the first to earn a double PhD in astronomy and mathematics. Let's go to the area of social sciences, demography, and statistical research into population studies. Again, another Igbo man, Professor Okonjo, who actually set up the first center for population research in Ibadan in the early 1960s. He's a double PhD holder in mathematics and economics. Actually, you may know this. You might be interested to know that he's actually the father of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was the managing director of World Bank and later served as a minister in the Obasanjo and Yar'Adua's administration, respectively. What about the area of philosophy? We're talking about Professor G.D. Okafor, another Igbo man. He became a professor of philosophy at the Amherst College in the United States in 1953. Actually, the first PhD holder in philosophy. Let's go to the area of economics. Somebody like Dr. Pius Okibo, okay, who some people call Dr. K professor, which means a doctor that is higher than a professor. He became a visiting scholar and professor of economics at the University of London in 1954. He's also the first Nigerian PhD holder in economics. In the area of theology and theological research, we're talking about Professor Njoku, who became the first Nigerian to earn a PhD in theology from Queen's University, Belfast in Ireland. He was appointed a professor of theology at the University College in Zambia in 1952. Now, let's look at our present time, our contemporary time. Let's just look at, what is out there. Verifiable data from Federal Office of Statistics on education shows that 3 Igbo states for the past 12 years have consistently had the largest number of graduates in Nigeria. Now, they are producing more graduates than Ondo State, Osun State, Ekiti, and Oyo states. These eastern states I'm talking about are Imo State, Anambra State, and Abia State. Yet you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, has the effrontery to say that Igbos don't go to school. Imagine the cheek of that. That is nonsense. Arrant nonsense. That is actually arrant nonsense. Stupidity in HS. Okay? I put it to you that you are very ignorant, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, and you need to school yourself a little bit. The Nigerian Universities Commission has a record of the state with the largest number of professors on their record. And as of 2014, 2014, that state is Imo State. Okay, that state is Imo State, followed by Ondo State, and then Anambra State. The next, I think, was Ekiti State, then Delta State, before Kwara State. Okay, so just like some people were very surprised when historical research found that Benin people were the first Nigerians to receive Western education. I am sure that somebody like you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, will be arrogantly surprised to know that Igbo people have more academics in Nigeria than any other tribes in the country. Listen, when you sit at wherever, when you sit at wherever you are sitting, never you think that others are sleeping. All right? I don't know whether I'm making sense here. Okay? You can go and verify this information with Nigerian Universities Commission. Anambra State was actually the first in WAEC, Unity School Entrance Examinations, NECO and presidential debate in 2013, 2014, and 2015. So, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you can see that Igbos are not daft as you think. Igbos are not mere traders and keke riders, as you call them. In addition to doing very well in business, in science, technology, and sports, Igbos are also ahead in academia. Okay? No amount of hatred as demonstrated by you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, can change these facts. In fact, you will be very surprised to know the educational qualification of some of the Igbo people that you see selling motor spare parts or driving buses and doing keke riding. Okay? You will be amazed when you see their educational qualification. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, in your ranting, you implied that you own Lagos. Okay? And you want to drive non-Yoruba people out of Lagos. Okay? Now let's look at who owns Lagos. Look at who owns Lagos. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, but I want to let you know that you don't own Lagos. Okay? You don't. I want to let you know that you and your cohorts cannot drive other tribes out of Lagos because Igbos and other Nigerian tribes also own Lagos. Okay? Lagos is actually a multi-ethnic city. Excuse me. You and some others should stop making these threatening and divisive comments that you want to kill and drive non-Yoruba people out of Lagos, blah, blah. You know, why Lagos? Why not other Nigerian cities? Listen, constitutionally, Lagos is owned collectively by all Nigerians. An extensive research actually shows that present Lagos started when the British annexed Lagos as a colony. Till today, most of the titles for landed property in places like Ikoyi, Victoria Land, Yaba, Ebute-Metta, Lagos Island, etc. take their root from the Queen's Registry. The said titles were recorded in Her Majesty's Registry, evidencing the parcels of land allocated. These titles, after independence, were passed on to the federal government of Nigeria and held until the recent sale to private individuals under Obasanjo's administration. Now, the owners of the land are private individuals from various ethnicities. Yes, further communities in Lagos have also sold extensive land to new owners who actually come from other parts of Nigeria. Look here, when you sell a property and receive adequate compensation, when you sell a property and receive adequate monetary compensation for the property, do you still own that property? No, you don't. You don't. The answer is no, you don't. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, I want to let you know that the evidence of developed real estate ownership is not your ancestral land ownership, but legal documentation. Legal documentation, title documents. Unfortunately, you have no idea about all this. You have no idea about how this works. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you must know that the Igbos are not land grabbers. They lawfully purchase the land from their owners. Again, I would like to put it to you that one does not continue to own a piece of real estate after one has traded ownership of the land for cash to a developer. And this is how it is in a legal land sale, period. Okay? Now, let me tell you something, Mr. Adeyinka grandson. If you sincerely believe that your father's property in Lagos is being taken by Igbo person, if you believe that your father's property in Lagos, was bought or taken by Igbo people with what you call proceeds of crime, you don't enter into such transaction. Rather, you can call the police or go to court, which is the ultimate arena for enforcement of one's legal right. That's what you should have done, instead of fooling yourself on Facebook and other social media, making raving lunatic noise. Nonsense. Let me tell you, the Igbos, like other Nigerians, bought their properties from constituted authority. And like every other Nigeria, have a right. They have a right to lay claim to Lagos, for they also follow to own Lagos. Okay, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you have no idea what you're talking about, and I can see that you are evidently uneducated on capital accumulation. You are evidently uneducated on capital formation. You are evidently uneducated on entrepreneurship. You are evidently uneducated on foreign investment and their differences. Okay? Look, in Nigeria, Igbos are, by public acclaim and recognition, the country's most productive, self-made, entrepreneurial, adventurous group, both at home and abroad. Okay? Modern Lagos, as we know it today, is actually a product of collective efforts of all Nigerians, Igbos inclusive. For instance, the environment of Lagos, the things that make Lagos beautiful, things like Third Mainland Bridge, Eco Bridge, Kata Bridge, all the bridges you see around, which we call flyovers in Nigeria, places like Ikoyi, Tinkan Island, Federal Palace Hotel, Ikoyi Hotel, just to name a few, were not built with cocoa money. They were not built with cocoa money, but mainly from oil money. Okay? Mr. Adeyinka grandson. Okay? If you get a chance and look at stages 1, 2, 3, and 4, at least, of development plans of the federal government of Nigeria, you will see that what you see the kind of allocation Lagos got, okay, directly from the federal government for these developments. Therefore, it is awfully wrong of you and your cohorts to now start claiming that Lagos is yours and threatening bloodshed, asking other nationals to go home. Go where? Go where? Tell me. The only thing that can excuse anyone to say things like this is insanity. Okay? And it is very diagnosable that you may be insane. You better go and check yourself. Let me ask you further here, and let me ask you, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, how many states in the southwest produce the resources which we all depend on? My guess is that it's only Ondo State. Yet all the states from the southwest continue to derive benefits from the federal government, and there is nothing wrong with that, for we are all federation, at least for now. And all the federating states have certain rights as well as obligation to its citizens. Nigeria fought to ensure we are one. Okay? I hope so. As long as we are all given equal opportunity in Nigeria, we all should avoid saying things like our Lagos, our oil, our Abuja, our gas, or collectively we may all be losers. Historically, by the way, the rights of who own Lagos are clear. According to historical research, Lagos was actually a Benin town with an Oba who paid tribute to the Oba of Benin. Right? Indeed, his chief were actually the descendants of noble Benin families. The Benin Empire ran Lagos for over 400 years before the colonial powers took over. So, who owns Lagos? I guess it's all of us, I think. Take Abuja, for example. Who owns Abuja? The land was bare and owned by the Gwari people, and in a span of, say, 30 years, upon legal acquisition, federal and individual private resources turned the bare land into a paradise on earth, so to say. So, who really owns Abuja now? Can the Gwari people there say to the Yoruba people or the Igbos, go back home? My answer is simply no. They cannot do that. That city was developed by our collective efforts and resources. Indeed, if anything at all, the Gwari people should be very grateful to have such federal development in their area. So that is how it is. Okay, the former eastern Nigeria, particularly the southeast and the south, continue to produce the natural resources that drive our Nigerian economy. Imo State, Abia State, and Anambra State are now oil-producing states. The reserves of oil in Anambra State are now proven to be more than those in River State. The Igbo people, the Igbo-speaking part of Delta, also have huge deposits of gas, and we're all thankful for these resources. Okay, we who owns these resources? For instance, who owns this? Is this all Nigerians? So, Mr. Adeyinka grandsons, before you open your mouth and talk nonsense, I expect you to be very careful. Be very careful when you lay claim to Lagos as your town and threaten violence and want to kill and want to drive away Igbos and those who are non-Yorubas. You better think twice. Okay? You better think twice. In conclusion, because I'm getting to my destination in a minute. In conclusion, I want to correct you on one other point that you made, where you said that Igbos are criminals. My friend, Igbos are not criminals. You are wrong to say this. Igbos are not criminals. But wait a minute, by the way. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you claim to be a law-abiding person in England? You claim to be law-abiding, Adeyinka. You claim to be law-abiding, and you're making this level of threat? That the threat alone, okay, is an offense on its own. Okay, you're not serious. You can't be serious. Seriously, you call yourself a law-abiding? By the way, remember the two individuals that savagely butchered a British soldier on the street of London are not Igbo people. They are not Igbo persons. They are not Igbos, but they are of Nigerian extraction, like you. They started like you. They started like you. Those two individuals started as hate mongers like you before they savagely butchered an innocent British soldier on the street of London. Adeyinka, you two need to be watched. You two need to be followed up because your threat is getting too dangerous. Your threat is getting too provocative. By the way, criminal activities are wrong and are condemnable worldwide. All well-meaning Nigerians and Africans condemn crimes too, irrespective of their tribe. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, there are individuals from all the Nigerian tribes who are engaging in crimes. These criminals are not only Yorubas, they are not only Bini people, and of course, they are not only Igbos or Yorubas or Hausas. Excuse me. A simple Google search in the internet will tell you this. Just this week alone, all the 23 Nigerian suspects or convicts or people caught or convicted by security operatives or courts, either in London or Lagos, Texas, respectively, for either credit card fraud, theft, robberies, none of the suspect or convict was Igbo. Straight from my head now, I think in 2017, a court of law in Mississippi, United States, gave the highest sentence in history of 235 years imprisonment for running online scam that duped people out of tens of millions of dollars. Once again, this worst scam in history was not committed by an Igbo person, but a Nigerian of another ethnic group. This tells me that crime is not tribal, crime is not ethnic based, as criminals can come from any tribe in Nigeria or beyond. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, I am sure you know that the Igbos are not the known public treasury looters and corporate wealth raiders in Nigeria. Not Igbos at all. Excuse me. The success of an average Igbo person is not mainly found in government agencies of Nigeria, but based on private hard work and purposeful employment of their talents. It is not corruption at all. It is not political office based, which has been for some Nigerian groups. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you can see your frustrated, continuous ranting and vituperation is only motivated by resentment, is only motivated by bitterness, is only motivated by jealousy, is only motivated by envy, hatred, and total ignorance, total abhorrence against the Igbo people. Okay, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, listen. I'm not gonna call you an idiot. I'm not gonna say you're an idiot. I'm not gonna say that you are myopically stupid, and I'm not gonna say that you are full of shit. Okay, but I mustn't fail to cancel you. I must not fail to cancel you because you definitely need to be cancelled. That sending malicious communication using social media contravenes all known communication acts in any civilized society and can be criminal too. It is an offense to send a message that is grossly offensive like the one you did. Your communication on social media expresses an unpopular and unfashionable and untrue opinion about the Igbo people, and it is very distasteful. It is very, very offensive. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, let me tell you here that your kind of messaging is actually eligible for criminal prosecution under the law of any civilized society. Your communication manner on Facebook, which specifically targets Igbo people of Nigeria, contains credible threat of violence and aggression. Look, Mr. Adeyinka grandson, and lastly, I want to tell you here that Igbos are not enemy of any Nigerian tribe. Igbos are not the common enemy Nigeria has. Okay? As a matter of fact, somebody actually said that the Igbos are the glue that holds Nigeria together. Mr. Adeyinka grandson, if you are wise, you should channel your energy to fight common enemy of Nigeria. Okay? Mr. Adeyinka grandson, you are very aware that some of the things you are saying, are actually attracting, huge audience. It's attracting huge